Hello, I'm Crystal with Whole New Perspective. Welcome to my channel. Listen, thank you for coming in. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. All you need to do is just hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're at it, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, like the video. And guys, I am jarring it up today. You know, I have been really busy these last few weeks getting things jarred up. So if you are new to my channel, you may not know, but starting in January of this year, I have introduced a challenge. It's hashtag jarred up 2023. And it is a challenge where we can jar things up all throughout the year. I certainly have been, but now I am going to be jarring a lot more up than I did in March and April. So guys, what I'm jarring up today is going to be coming from this the newer ball canning book. Now this book has a variety of things, different type of recipes, and so I like it, and I'm just gonna be trying some things in this book. And if you see down here, I'm gonna be using corn. I'm gonna try 2 new recipes to me, and I like to use these recipes, or I will use it with beans, black beans to be exact. You know, my family likes black bean quesadillas, black bean and corn quesadillas, and this might just work wonderfully. So let me just show you what I do. I take the corn, and I just like to put it, if you have a bundt pan, you can just sit it down in your bundt pan, and it just makes it easy because it's sturdy. And then I just cut my kernels. Now, I'm not worried so much about having every little kernel off because I have another project that I'm gonna be using with my cobs. And so this is really all you do. You just continue to turn it, cut the corn off the cob, and it falls down nicely. Not only does it hold it sturdy, but it falls down nicely inside of your bundt pan. And so when you're finished, you don't have corn all over the place. And so that's a good thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this corn off the cob. Now I have 12 ears here. I have some behind me that I still need to go ahead and shuck. I ended up purchasing this corn at my grocery store. My farmer's market, when I got there, the farmer that had the corn, he had sold out and he was leaving for the day. So I went to my grocery store and they actually had it for $1. And I'll put a little clip in here. One of the things that I like to do is talk to the produce manager. And if you talk to the produce manager, you can find out a lot about where they get their produce from. And so I had some questions about the corn. I talked about the farmer's market. And one of the things he did tell me was that this corn was from North Carolina, which is where I'm from. So you do, when you see something that says local, it may not be that it's close to you. I think there's some mileage around. I don't want to say, I do believe that there's this large mileage area that they consider to be local, and it may not be in your state. So for me, he did say that it's a North Carolina farmer. I'm in North Carolina. It did look very fresh. I shucked these 12 in the store, and I brought these 12 home. Now I've had them for a while, so now I have got to get to it and get this made. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and continue cutting this corn off the cob. As I said, I'm saving my corn cobs so that I can do something else with it. I do have another project in mind, one that I've done before, and I'll bring you along with me when I do that too. So I'll be back after I have all this corn off the cob. I have shucked all 12 ears of corn, and this is what I have. Now this is actually 12 cups. So as I said, I'm going to be making several recipes from this corn, and most of them will be new recipes to me. And so I'm just gonna stick with the small amount in the book. So the first thing I'm going to be using, I think I shared this is a ball book that I'm going to be using for my first recipe, and it is the Eastern Shore Corn Relish. This is the first recipe that I will be making. So I'll tell you, it calls for 4 cups of fresh corn kernels, 2 cups of diced green bell peppers. So guys, I freeze my peppers. I cut them up and put them in half-cup increments and I freeze them. So this is 2 cups of peppers. I do the same thing with my onions. So this is 2 cups of onions. So I have that all ready to go. And I'll just add that this is a good thing for me to do, to be prepared for times like these. I don't have to worry about chopping up a bunch of things. So when I get my bell peppers, even when I'm growing them, if I'm given some or I get them at the store, I go ahead and chop them up and I put them in half-cup increments. And I don't do that as much as I should with my onions, but I'm gonna get on that too, because during this season, I need a lot of onions for my recipes. So think about doing that. Freezing is also a great way to preserve. So I am going to do more of that with my onions. Now back to the recipe. 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. This is what I'll be using. A cup of sugar. I have my sugar right here. 2 tablespoons of Old Bay. Wouldn't be an Eastern Shore recipe if it didn't have this Old Bay. So I'll be using the Old Bay, a tablespoon of kosher salt, and 3 cups of diced, seeded, peeled tomatoes. Now, I don't have any fresh tomatoes. I only have 1 left from my purchase at the farmer's market. So I'm just gonna be using these from the store. These already diced tomatoes. I'm substituting those. And then 1 cup of peeled cucumbers. That's it for this recipe. So as you can tell, I'm gonna have quite a bit of corn left, and then I'll move on to my next corn recipe. Now this recipe calls for 5, this recipe makes 5 pints. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this on the stove. Make sure, guys, again, that you have your water boiling. This is a water bath canning recipe. So make sure that you have your water boiling. Make sure that your jars are sterilized, because when you water bath, you wanna make sure that your jars are sterilized. And then just have everything ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going on this. I'll show you what it looks like. I may show you when I put it into my jars, but I'll definitely show you at the end. Again, this is not a how-to video right now. I just want to show you and share with you what I'm canning with my corn and with my hashtag Jarred Up 2023 challenge. So guys, make sure that you follow your recipe. There are times that I'm going so fast that I may skip something when I'm saying it on camera, but then when I go back to follow it, I follow it. So just make sure that whether you're following me or someone else, that you have the recipe and that you're following the recipe, just in case we accidentally leave something out. This Eastern Shore corn relish is smelling good. So guys, I have everything in here except 3 cups of tomatoes. I'm going to bring this to a boil. After it's boiling, I'm going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for 10 minutes. Now after the 10 minutes, I'll go ahead and add the tomatoes in, and I'll let it simmer for another 10 minutes. After that, I'll remove it from the heat, and then I'll go ahead and fill my jars. I've added the tomatoes. Now all I need to do, I'm stirring them in, let it simmer now for another 10 minutes, and then I am ready to go ahead and get them jarred up. Now I am getting ready to fill my jars. I did taste this and it is delicious. And so it's a keeper for me. And I wish I would have made more now, but I'll make some more. I still have quite a bit of corn, so I'll definitely make quite a bit more. So you fill this to 1/4 inch headspace. I'm sorry, to 1/2 inch headspace. This is probably gonna be too much, but we'll see. Want to get the air bubbles out. Nope, it's not too much. This would be a 1/4 inch, like that. This is the 1/2 inch. So that's the 1/4 inch, that's 3/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 3/4, and 1/2. So it's actually fine. Now that I've gotten the air bubbles out, I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it with some vinegar. This is just plain old white vinegar. And again, just trying to get everything that may have gotten on the rim off so that it does not interfere with the seal. I'm gonna take my lid. Sometimes I am a little picky with it, with how I place the lids. So I'm just gonna place the lid on here. And I'm just gonna put it fingertip tight. This is pretty hot. Let you see it. So I'm just going to put it down in here. I have quite a bit of jars in here. I want to make sure that if I only have 5, it's supposed to be a recipe for 5, and I don't want to have the jars rattling around. And so I definitely have filled it to the top. Being very careful because this water is scalding hot, which is what you need. So you want to make sure that your jars are really hot because this relish is also really hot. So that way you don't have to worry about anything cracking. I'm going to go ahead and continue to fill my jars, and then I will bring you back and let you see the next step, okay? So this is a perfect recipe. I have exactly 5 pints, exactly 5 pints. But like I said, I did taste just a little bit and I like it. Now I like to put jars in here to keep my canner full. If this were a pressure canner, I would go ahead and pressure can the water, but I really don't like to do it when I'm water bath canning. So guys, all I'm gonna do now is just go ahead and get this in the water, and I'm gonna let it process for 15 minutes. I thought I may have to add some water. Guys, you wanna make sure that you have 1 inch. Your water is 1 inch above your jars. And so I always keep a kettle of water just in case. But this time I really thought I was gonna have to, and I do. See, it's 1 inch. Actually, it's more than that above. That's okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it and let it come back up to a rolling boil. Boil it for 15 minutes. Today has been a long day of canning and cooking. You can probably tell that from the dishes over in my sink. But I really want to thank you for coming along with me. This is my first time cooking or making this Eastern Shore corn relish, and it is a keeper. I will be making it again, and I think I'll keep it as a relish in my pantry. So if you are doing any type of jarring up, I'm going to ask you just to come along with me. Use the hashtag JarredUp2023, and please don't forget to tag me so that I know that you are participating in this challenge. Again, this challenge really is, it has been for me and for you to get things jarred up on our pantry shelves. We're gonna need all the food that we can get, and this summer is a perfect time. Now you may be asking, but you're doing pickles, relishes, things like that. Well, I have a ton of protein meat. I have beans and chicken, things like that in my pantry. And those things I will can again in the fall, the winter, when I don't have items for or from the farmer's market. Let me know down below what you are jarring up. If you're jarring anything up, let me know if you have tried this corn relish. I'd definitely like to know that. Thank you guys again for coming along with me.